All right, so this is my reflection of Module 1, and just want to say that so far I'm really excited about the course and how much I'm going to be able to learn during this class. I thought that we were off to a great start. I like the diversity of our class where we have, Wrights, we have African Americans, our teacher is Hispanic, and we got somebody that's Turkish. So I think it's a perfect group to have this class to learn about ELLs and how to be a good counselors and working with people of different races and origins. And so what have I learned so far is I've learned that this is a lot that I need to know more about myself. We have to be careful not to think that we have even though I've been with myself all my life, there's some things that I may not be aware of that I do, and just to be more cognizant of myself, my actions, how I come across to others, my ignorance, things that I don't know. And I've learned that it's a lot that I need to know about different cultures. I need to learn these things so I can counsel them correctly. I need to know some of their customs, some of their traditions, how to deal with them, how not to disrespect them, how to communicate with their families. I need to understand maybe some of the things that they're going through so I can be more sensitive to that when I'm dealing with their students and counseling the families. So far I've learned that. And I think Module 1 was kind of like a foundation to kind of set the tone for the rest of the class that we're going to have. And it was an eye opener, especially the jelly bean activity was amazing because to me it showed me that I don't really hang out with anybody that's outside of my race, and not for any particular reason. I didn't do that on purpose. It just happens to be that way, and I understand that I need to look into finding some different friends of different cultures. And I talked to my wife about that the other day, that we need to reach out to some Hispanics, we need to reach out to some Asians and Japanese and befriend these people, because we're missing out on life if we're just hanging around one another and people of our own culture. There's some things that we can learn from other cultures. There's some other friendships, some other times that we could have. Because I haven't invited nobody from another culture or race to my house, not on purpose, not for any reason. Like I have any prejudices against them. I haven't done it. I don't have any friends. But I haven't made any effort to make any friends of other races as well. And there are Hispanics that live in my neighborhood. There are Hispanics that go to my church. So I have an opportunity to. So I think I'm going to make more of an effort to make sure that I'm more diverse. And I think it not only make me a better person, that make my life more interesting, but also aid me in counseling, because I have a more well-rounded of people that I hang around with all the time, so I know how to communicate with them. I can understand their family structures from a better angle, other from the outside in, other than from a textbook perspective, but from a personal perspective, from hanging with these people, getting to know these people. Even some of the people I'm kind of uncomfortable with, like gays and maybe Arabs and people like that. I need to embrace them and maybe kind of learn some more about their culture and just be more accepting. So that was a big eye opener for me, and I still have a lot of growth and maturity to grow in that area, because I do want to help all students, whatever school that I'm a part of. I don't want any student to feel left out, or I don't want to misjudge any student based off of their race because of things that I didn't know about myself. So that jelly bean activity was an excellent. Willing to be disturbed. The Tim Wise video was amazing, and the white privilege. I think it was great because it was powerful because it came from a white man. And he made a good point. He says what makes this part of this is the fact that a white man is standing up here and presenting this topic. And I think it's an eye-opener, even for African Americans, to realize, what does it mean to be privileged in America? What does it mean to be underprivileged? Maybe privilege means, like you said, privilege means that when you get pulled over, you don't have to worry about your car getting searched, even though the chances of you having drugs or something illegal on you is higher than it is for African Americans or people of color. And so there's some of the privileges that white Americans experience all day. The things that they can worry about going places and not being judged on their race and their color. And that's something that, maybe when it crosses their mind, it's something that always crosses my mind, whether it be on the good end or bad end. Good end sometimes, like, okay, they need to fill their quota, so I'm in. Or the bad thing is like they don't like black. It's something that we think about on a day-to-day basis, and other colors and Hispanics and people, minorities, think about on a regular basis. Like, am I going to get in my sheer ability and talent and qualifications and education, or is there something else that they're looking at? And that's something that, as being a minority in America, is we always have to take in consideration. Is that's almost a part of our resume. So I think that was an enlightening video, very confirming of some of the thoughts and values that I thought that we still needed to address here in America. And so I think that'd be a really good tool to show, and maybe a community that has a whole bunch of urban students that have a whole bunch of minorities, so they can get a better perspective of how they feel here in America. Especially if you're a teacher who's kind of been out of touch, even if you're African American and maybe you didn't grow up in that style. Maybe you were privileged growing up because your family had money, or maybe you lived in a different neighborhood, and so maybe you're kind of out of touch on some of what I don't want to say a true minority, but a minority who grew up maybe in the ghetto, or maybe grew up in a low SES status experience, and you may be out of touch from that narrative. So basically, after Module 1, I feel like there's a lot of things that I can use in my counseling and in my personal life. Like I say, developing new friends, being more multicultural in my everyday life, and not to prove anything to anybody, and not to say, oh, I got this amount of friends, I got Asian friends, I got this, but just to make me a more well-rounded person, and to and to kind of step out of my shell and out of my bubble of just hanging with people of my kind, of my race and my minority group. So, but also I think as a byproduct that I would be a better counselor, having a better understanding, and also just learning the jelly bean activity, just watching the videos and the topics, and the 100% Americans and some of the other things that we learned. That I've learned that it's a great privilege to be in America. Yes, it is. It's an honor, and I love to be an American. But to realize that to make sure that we don't come across as that we have it all together, or that we're doing everything correctly, and to realize that America is the only way, because our culture is made up of a whole bunch of different cultures. As we read and we find out that a lot of things that we use on a day-to-day basis wasn't even invented by Americans. They were invented by people from different countries. And a lot of our customs and traditions don't even come from America. They're from other countries that we've adapted. So with that being said, just have a bigger perspective, broader perspective of America, and be more cognizant of how we come across to other races, so that we're not come across as arrogant, or that we come across as accepting, and just willing to work together. I think that's what makes America beautiful, when that can happen. That's one of the greatest things. And so I really look forward to being and learning more, gleaning more for the rest of this class. And it's not my first diversity class. I think it's kind of been taught throughout the whole program here at UNF of accepting others, but this is definitely a different angle. And even though it's like the end of my program, one of my last classes that I have to take, I'm still learning of some of my own biases, and I was forced to think about that earlier on, and now I'm thinking about some other biases that I didn't have prior to this class. So it's just amazing, and I look forward to learning even more. So after Module 1, I'm truly satisfied and just very excited to move on.